Hey, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, it is. It's Friday, November 24th, and it's 8 minutes after 4 in the morning. So why I'm all dressed like this? Well, the boys come out yesterday morning, and we sat, and all of us saw deer, but nothing shootable, except Zach, and Zach ended up taking a coyote. Now, last week, it was this week on Monday. I took a big male. He took a big female yesterday. But for the amount of deer we're seeing, and they have to be chasing, they had to go to turkey dinner last night with Rob's fiance's parents, Zach's parents. And I opted not to sit last night because it started raining when I went feeding cows. So they're supposed to be out here bright and early this morning. They both have today off. And then from there, they're supposed to take off and head up north to pick up my grandson, my daughter's boy. He hunts, but he's 15 going on 16, so he has to sit with me, but he can still legally, he's got his own tags, so he can fill tags. And the way I've done it with each generation, my son and so forth, is I don't care how old you are, you have to prove to me that you're a safe, ethical hunter. Big emphasis on safe. So until you prove to me, I don't care if you're 50-year-old, you're going to sit with me until you can prove to me that you don't need to be sat with to make sure that you do everything right. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about not becoming too content with life. I guess as we get older, sometimes we get content, but stay tuned. I'll fill you. All right, so what do I mean by becoming too content? When you become content, then you at that point you stop trying to get better at something. And what I find is the older that I get, the more content I am. But my content comes from looking back over my rich life, and not rich in wealth, rich relationships, friendships, what have you. And I've accomplished a lot of things. Am I all done accomplishing? No. I still got stuff on my, bucket list, my honey-do list, and every other list that's out there. But I'm at the age of where, I've been this way for a little while anyways, of where I don't feel like I need to prove anything to myself, because I know that if whatever it is I want to accomplish or whatever I want to do, if I want to do it bad enough, or if I want it bad enough, I will find a way to accomplish it. In life, we're problem solvers for ourselves, trying to figure out, do I want a college education? If so, check that box. How am I going to get it? Where am I going to get the money? You go down through the list. And for many, that's working nights and weekends and attending day classes. Yeah. If you want it bad enough, you will find a way to get it. Easy peasy, right? What I'm seeing today is we're raising a different generation of kids, and that's raising kids to be content from the get-go. And I know what you're saying. You're like, where are you going with this, Eric? All right. So for you parents, you probably can relate to this more than most people. But you get young kids, all right? And what you do is you when they hit a certain age, they go to school. And that's pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, go first, second, third. And in pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, it's more about socializing than it is about attaining, if you understand that. What you want is for your kids to be with other kids their own age and have formed their own likes and dislikes and so forth. And each kid's going to be unique. You know, some's going to like this more than that, etc., etc. But at that age, it doesn't matter how big you are, how little you are, if you have glasses, don't have glasses, everything else, you know. You're all buds, right? You're just hanging out, having a good time. It's kind of like play period all day long while your parents are working. And I agree with that. I think at that age, you know, parents are already teaching their kids stuff at home, and they better be teaching their kids stuff at home. The moral, the values, you know, right from wrong. You know, it's the parent's job to teach and raise the child. It's the teacher's job to get them to first come together and on a level playing field and get to know each other and let them form their own traits. But it's going to be based on what the parents are doing and not so much what the teachers are doing, if that makes sense. When you start having teachers think that they can do a better job of parenting your kids than you can, then you better be raising a stink, because most can't. Most teachers that I know of don't have kids. And we don't see the teachers like my sister and my grandmother around too much anymore. They're still here. But they were dedicated to the kids, and the kids only. You know, they would stay up late. They would stay after. I mean, I can remember my grandmother going out and buying school clothes for this one younger family that they didn't have the money for school clothes, so he always had barn clothes that he wore to school every day. So my grandmother grabbed him and his mom and took him to the local clothing store and got him some clothes. That is a teacher. You know, one that wants, if they don't have a good solid home life, then they're not going to get a good solid school life, right? But now once we start, you know, first, second, you're going to start doing the stuff like t-ball, pee-wees, soccer, basketball, wrestling. And again, when you first start them out, you're starting them out just acclimating them to the sport. They've gone from socializing to now we want to take them to the next step. And this is kind of like pre-programming our kids, that if they want something bad enough, they will find a way. Now, this is where I see a difference from when I was growing up, and even when my two kids were growing up, is that even in the middle and upper high school, there are no winners or losers. That makes any sense. Because they don't want their child to feel bad. You know, it's one of those things of a participation trophy. What are you teaching your child as a parent? And what are you teaching that child as a coach? Competition is good. Having winners and having losers is good. Because what does it do? If you end up being a loser, you have two options. You can either try harder or give up. That easy. But if you have all winners and no losers, what's going to make that person want to, try to get any better at it? Why? Why should they get better at it? They're not being pushed to excel. And if you don't push them to excel, then when they get out into the real life, there are winners and losers. And they don't know how to adapt. Because they've been brought up to everybody's a winner. No matter how bad you played, you got a participation trophy and you were called a winner. Now I can see that, in t-ball and kids soccer and stuff. See, when I was growing up, our school was small. The graduating class was 19 kids. That was my graduating class. So that meant for soccer, baseball, and basketball, we all had to play. We didn't have enough people, in the school for everybody not to play. But I was blessed to have good coaches from that school that taught excellence, doing your very best. And your very best depends upon you as an individual. And how to be winners and how to be losers. And before you say anything, these coaches, if we won, all right, we didn't put the other kids down that lost. Not even close. I used to say, you guys had an off night or something like that, or, you guys played good. It's just the way things went, You didn't try to slam them, and I've seen that. Poor sportsmanship. But our coaches taught us, take the good with the good and with the bad, you better be good sportsmanship on both ends, whether you're the victor or the loser. This is my expectation of you and how you are going to act. Heaven forbid if you were getting frustrated and you threw a bat or something during baseball, that told the coach that maybe you weren't ready for what he had put you in. But I think in life we have to have good, healthy competition. And in saying that, you do have to have winners, and some people have to be losers at times. And what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. If you've never been taught to excel by being better, this is something that I learned as I was in my late 20s, early 30s. At some point in there, I quit competing with other people. And I started competing with myself to make myself better than I was the day before. Because I didn't want people to feel, like I was trying to be better than them. And hopefully it never come across that way, because it was never that way. But if you become content, then you stop trying to get better at anything. That means you feel that you are now the best at everything, which I've never seen a person that's the best of the best or perfect. We all have our flaws. But each of us has our own take on what we deem to be a good life. Some weren't made to play sports, but they were great when it come to books, learning, spelling, where the rest of us struggled at it, right? Again, you're unique. It's whatever drives you to want to learn, to do better the next time. See, if you're in your teens, your 20s, and even your 30s, and you happen across this video, let me tell you that we've done a disservice to you. And that is when we are not molding you to be equipped to handle life in general. Because once it starts to become hard, you guys quit. And it's not totally your fault, is what I'm trying to get across, is you were taught that back in elementary and then high school. And then a lot of colleges teach the same thing. That how you're a winner at everything, no matter how much or how little you've put forward. Life in general, once you reach adulthood, even in high school, life is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. If it was easy, we'd all be the same. But what I think you need to hear is, if you want to get that job or get married at some point or have a relationship with somebody, everything requires work on your part. It's not going to just be handed to you. And I think that we did a disservice to you by telling you that, it is handed to you, that you don't have to work or try to excel in any part of your life. So if anything, we're holding you back from the minute you try something and you feel like it's a lot of work or it's too hard, you quit. See, most people excel and change when staying where they're at is more uncomfortable than changing and moving forward. That's common, okay? And for a lot of you, your parents are still doing the same thing. And if you're hearing you're a parent with a 20 or 30-year-old still living at home, you're the one I'm talking to. You're still teaching them that if it's too hard, they can quit, and you're going to take care of them. You need to sink or swim on your own merits. At a certain age, yes. You really have to embrace the winner and loser, because that was in place to teach you, if you were the loser, what do I have to do to become better at that? To win, which is part of life, is problem solving, versus instead of trying to figure it out or how to attain what you want, you just throw your arms in the air and you're like, well, it's not supposed to be this hard. Yeah, it is. I see it a lot too with, I listen to the news from time to time, and when you got employees trying to dictate to their employer of how many work days they should get a week, how many hour days they should work, less than 40 instead of 40. I got news for you. Most of us work more than 50 hours a week. Some over 60 hours a week. A lot of us had second and third jobs. Was it easy? No. But we wanted to be first and foremost the provider of our families. And we understood that in order to do that, we have to figure out how to do that. And do I take on a second job to bring more income in, or do I start slashing the budget of other things that are deemed unnecessary? You have to be a problem solver. And if you're not willing to put forth the effort, I don't know how you can actually get into good relationships, whether it's friendships or more serious, because you're not willing to put forth the effort that's required. A good marriage is not easy. Having a good close friendship is not easy, because at times you're going to have struggles and you need to figure out how to overcome those issues. So that's what I'm talking about as far as being content, is you are less driven. But for me, I always find something else to challenge me. I love the challenge. Whereas we're teaching our kids that challenge is bad, that being a winner is bad. But it's this here. I still classify myself as a novice when it comes to doing videos, editing. And I know that it takes work, it takes time to develop that skill. But I'm willing to put forth the effort. Because right now I'm in the trial and error, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And then one thing, the light bulb come on and said, why don't you just be yourself? You don't need to be somebody else. I felt that I had something I could offer that could be helpful, useful in your life. But if you're not good at it, see, here's the way I look at things a lot in life, is if you attain it fast, you're going to lose it as fast, if that makes any sense. If it comes too easy, then you as a individual will deem it not as important. And for some of you, you'll do this for a while and then you'll become bored of it and move on. For some of you, you got instant fame and you're a big influencer and it shot up fast because you knew all the tricks and stuff to entertain viewers. But when I see something like that happen, I also know that it's going to be a hard drop, because after a while they're going to get tired of watching the clickbaits and everything else. And they're just going to turn you off, tune you out. And then what? So if there's things that you want in life, and you're always going to want things in life no matter how old you get, I think old school, when you hear people talk about old school, taught us to be ready for the world. Taught us that if we weren't good at something, how to become better if we wanted to continue doing it. If you look at anybody, we'll use professional college athletes that are the top of their group. They didn't get there by not having to put the time in. No, they practiced and practiced and practiced and worked out and got in shape. More practice. For every successful person that's on the football team, had to start somewhere and had to have that instilled in them, that in order to become good, better, excellence in something, you have to put the time in. And if you're not willing to put the time in, or it comes too easy, then it's not deemed worth having. Alright, so on that note, you guys have a great Monday, or a great Friday. This Turkey Day's got me all screwed up. So, a great Friday. Got my grandson coming up, going to stay with us for the weekend to hunt. And hopefully, we'll get something. So, on that note, I'll probably put out a video sometime this weekend. I didn't get to it yesterday, to be honest with you. I got sidetracked with other stuff, so. But you guys have a great Friday. Thanks so much for watching.